My father and most of the Jews he knew didn't even trust banks. They kept piles of cash right in our house, a tradition which I'm embarrassed to say I've continued to this day.
I heard it was police that dropped Fame.
Shit, I'm starting to sound like Lowell.
You ain't wrong about this butter pecan.
Was a nigga who came back from the dead.
Finally, Breeze is here. But Kanan seemed to be feeling guilty, and I'll tell you why. The myth about who put Famous down is still uncertain, but I put up a theory some hours before the release of episode 6. If you haven't seen it yet, do check it out on my page. I'll leave the link in the description below of this video for easy access. You might want to watch that theory if you haven't, because I'll be updating some key points in this video from that one. What's up, power fans and YouTube? It's your boy Nino, and I'm back with another power video. In this video, I'll be talking about Kanan feeling guilty, the new update on who killed Famous, and if you watch my last video, this update will only draw you to the confirmation of who killed Famous, and I'll tell you why they brutalized him instead of shooting him. I'll also talk about Birilla Robbing his executive producer Lowell, and the introduction of Breeze and key highlights in episode 6. And of course, if you are new to my channel, you are welcome. Kindly hit the subscribe button, like this video, and leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Let's take it from the end of episode 6. Now, Unique showing up at Raquel's house was the last thing I thought he would do. I thought he would first give Vanessa some peace at least, so she know that he's still alive before showing up at Raquel's place. But anyways, the ending was metaphorically dope, and the look on Raquel's face tells it all. I've never seen her shook like this before. Now, there has been a question on the street as to whether Unique is Breeze or not. But what do you think? It's been 11 years ago since we heard the name Breeze, and I think it's about time they made that introduction. If it is Unique, if Unique is Breeze, then I understand why Raquel's curtain was blowing with breeze. And they added some sound effect to it as well, which suggests that there was a breeze blowing the curtain. Now, this particular shot was supposed to be the establishing shot of the last scene of episode 6, right? Now, this shot could have been avoided because there is no significant meaning to the curtains. They could have done an establishing shot of Raquel outside her door trying to open and enter. They could have also used her inside entry as an establishing shot, which would have still worked perfectly. But because these writers are full of using metaphors in their plotting, they did this at the time Unique was about to reveal himself to Raquel for the first time. This might mean nothing as well, but trust me, this shot could have been skipped and this scene will still play perfectly fine. I don't think you and I care about these curtains, but because it is very significant to the writers and who they are about to reveal, they just have to make it seem like this curtain is so important. Symbolically, they are just trying to say that Unique showed up in Raquel's kitchen like a breeze. So from my observation, Unique being Breeze is 90% accurate to me. Compared to any other character so far, things about him fit the Breeze role perfectly. And don't forget, we are likely to have one season left, and a new character coming in as Breeze might be hard to fuse into the existing characters for it to make sense. And if indeed Breeze and Kanan run Queens together, then I guess it's time for Breeze to come. But let me know what you also think in the comment section below. Now, first off, Kanan is feeling two things right now, and that is guilt and pain. Famous' death obviously is taking a toll on everyone close to him, even myself. They are all grieving him based on their relationship, but when it comes to Kanan, he is not only in pain, but he also feels guilty as well. Not guilty of killing Famous, but guilty of throwing his friend out of his room. When Famous was hustling and paying for the apartment, Kanan seek refuge with him all this while until he couldn't pay his rent anymore. Kanan took over and threw Famous out of the room because of the gun in his bag issue with Raquel. I know Kanan had the right to be angry, but throwing him out and maltreating him was a bit extreme. And now that he's dead, Kanan is feeling angry and guilty, and from his expression, you can tell that he has some regrets. Because if Kanan hadn't sacked Famous from his room, all this might not have happened. He wouldn't end up hiding his gun in his closet for his mom to see and send to the police. Now, from Lou's conversation with Raquel in the beginning, you can tell that Lulu was pointing his conversation towards some direction. It feels like Lou is even suspecting his sister in this case, only that Raquel kept her cool throughout the conversation. Because once she was able to do DVs, why not Famous? Now, let's talk about Garcia's visit to Famous' mother. I know there are a lot of suspicions out there about Garcia being the killer and pretended, but I'll come to that soon. Let's first consider his detailed informations on how Famous was killed. He said from the result, Famous was tortured and killed. In other words, brutalized and dumped like trash. Now, I kind of get the angle people are coming from by saying Garcia did it. First off, because of how he beat Kanan on the street just like that so he can get information. Now, let's assume this theory about Garcia is true. Then someone may ask, why does he still want to know who did it? Well, it could be that Garcia is trying to ascertain from everyone close to Famous to see if just in case Famous told them something that could implicate him, Garcia. Then that will be the reason why he will be insisting for Famous' mother to tell him what she knows. Therefore, in one sentence, Garcia is trying to cover all loose ends that can be traced back to him. But personally, if you ask me, I still think my suspicion is still hovering around Howard like I stated in my last video. If Garcia plays part in that, fine, but I'll tell you why I say it's still Howard. According to Garcia, Famous was working with the NYPD by assisting them in an investigation of a murder of a police officer. Take note. And he believed that that was the reason he was killed. Now, let me ask you, which dead police officer do we know? Detective Berg. And who shot her? Howard. Berg's father started believing Howard killed his daughter because she found death on him, so don't forget that part too. Now, who released Famous from jail when he was once arrested without charges? Howard. Famous once saw a DNA test result of Kanan and was asking about it, but that conversation was cut short and was never addressed. Also, don't forget, Famous might be a clown as described, but he is smart in putting 2 and 2 together. Now, if Famous is helping the NYPD in an investigation of Beck's death, who will start shaking in that precinct first? Will it be Garcia or will it be Howard? Definitely Howard. And don't forget, Howard's gun was taken from him earlier, so he wasn't having a gun. Now, if you listen closely to the conversation between Kanan, Juke, and Freddy's crew, they said something about Famous knowing something about dirty cops. At that moment, Kanan's face showed that he knew what that means and they were referring to his father, Howard. As the situation got saved by the police siren, Kanan decided to ask Juke to fall back. And I think Kanan, knowing what happened to Howard and what he just heard, I believe he will cool off on the search for who killed Famous. Now, why did they use the approach they used on Famous instead of shooting him in the head? If Famous was shot, that would be way easier to suspect that someone wanted him out. And Howard would have been in more trouble because it would make sense. Because Beck was investigating him and she ended up dead with a bullet in her head. If Famous is helping an investigation about him and he ends up dead with bullets in his head, it will be obvious that Howard indeed killed Famous too. So in effect, what did they do? They beat the hell out of Famous and dumped him there to look like it was a hood fight that went wrong and he died. Could they have used knife to stab him? No. Because this will also look like an intended attack on him. The aim, I believe, was to make it look like a gang fight that went wrong and he died, but let me know what you also think in the comment section below. Now, alternatively, let's all assume it wasn't Howard who put Famous down. But the clear picture already is that the same police were the ones who did it. So, question is, who? Now, in Power, they don't just introduce characters without any significant use. Howard was not the only dirty cop. If you guys remember these 2 police officers who were messing up with Raquel in her attempt to go legit, they could potentially be a suspect, but let me tell you how. Let's say Raquel still got an intel about Famous talking to the police after she had already killed Howard. If indeed Famous was going to talk, then she will surely be tied to whatever it is, whether Howard is dead or still alive. So for her to clean up Famous without trace, she informed these 2 police about a guy trying to snitch on them for being corrupt. So Marvin dragged Famous to them. They tortured him to see if he would talk until he passed out and ended up dead. Then they probably left him there and covered him with the mattress. They later got their pay from Raquel for taking out Famous, and I just hope Kanan doesn't see his mother paying these cops after he heard it was the police who took his friend out. But let me know what you also think in the comment section below. But whatever the case is, for me, I still think Howard is linked to putting Famous down. But let me know what you also think in the comment section below. Now let's talk about Jessica and Lulu. Now, we've seen Jess and Lulu kicking it once again, and that made Imani mad as hell. But then one thing about these kind of pity sex or mourning and grieving sex is that it ends up with a fruit. So my projection is that Jessica might be going to LA with little Lou in her stomach without knowing. That is if the writers want to still drag Jessica back into the whole storyline, because at this point, her impact is no more useful unless she is carrying baby Lulu in her stomach. And please, 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 please don't come and tell me in the comment section that will be ghost Jessica is carrying in her stomach. I beg, please. Now let's move on to Birilla. I feel he'll be the one to end Lulu's career in music producing and possibly get Lulu back into demon time. Now, the time Lowell mentioned his family tradition in his long speech Thinking he was expressing his anger and pain, he ended up stating that even though he feels embarrassed of doing it, he still keeps cash in his house as family tradition. It was just a matter of time for the hungry Birilla, who doesn't have a single out yet, to be able to give his baby mama some cash to rob Lowell. And as predicted, he is planning to rob his boss so he can feed his daughter and baby mama. But I don't think this robbery will go on well. Something will definitely happen. Someone will get shot. Either Lowell himself will be killed in the process, or they might not find the money at all. Either ways, I think this robbery won't end up well and it will affect Lulu as well, but let me know what you also think in the comment section below. Now, finally, I don't know if I'm the only one, but the conversation between Juke and Marvin feels some way, especially what Marvin said that, shit, I just sounded like Lou. Has someone really paid attention to their conversation? Let me know in the comment section. What does it mean by shit, I just sound like Lou? Because the first thing that crossed my mind was Marvin just realized he was confessing something to Jukebox about fame. Because making comparison to Lou, we all know Lou went to confess to Scrappy's mother. So Marvin saying what he was saying and then realized himself and said he sounded like Lou to me means that he felt he was confessing to Juke about something bad he has done. So let me know what you also think about it. But for Marvin to change the position of the gun was very hilarious. But let me know what you think in the comment section below. If you like this video, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Most importantly, leave your thoughts and theories in the comment section below. Catch you in my next video. It's your boy Nino. Thanks for watching.